Hello, everybody. So in this unit, just gonna, not in this unit, I'm sorry, in this video and the next video, I'm gonna talk about how I'm going to, in the first one, how I'm going to grade you or how I'm going to assess you on things that are called projects. So at the end of every week or every subtopic, there will be a project or an activity, there might be a lab, and I'm gonna use a consistent way to grade you and also give you feedback on your work. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the rubric first, just to explain this. So, if I click on rubric, you'll notice that there's 3 criterion. So there, let's see if I can move the mouse. That's drawing. No, I can't use the mouse. I appreciate everybody being patient with me. There we go. So there are 3 criteria. There's one called presentation and organization. There's one called completeness. And the last one is called accuracy. So let's look at each one of those in detail. So if we go back down to presentation and organization, I'm going to erase this because it's driving me nuts. There we go. So in presentation and organization, there are three levels that you can score. So there's complete, there's partial, and there's incomplete. So here I'm looking for your ability to present scientific data or drawings or in some other way. So we're just going to look at the highest level right here. So in order to get a 3 out of 3, all your diagrams, so sometimes, right, I ask you in your pod to draw, or in this project I ask you to draw, tables, graphs, they're neat, correctly labeled, and also easy to read. So if you do those 3 things, you get 3 out of 3. The next category, I'm getting it. The next category is called completeness. Now, I think right away you would think, oh yeah, I've answered all the questions. But I also want you to pay attention to something called the values of the questions. So in IB Sciences, when you see a short answer question, usually there's a number after it to let you know how many points the question's worth. Usually they run between 1 and 6. 6 would be a high end, but usually between 1 and 6. So for each one of those point values, you have to create an idea. And this is going to be practice, and I don't expect you to get it on the first time. And then the last little criterion here is called accuracy. And again, you might originally think like, oh yeah, right, I've answered all the questions correctly. I also want you to answer them the right way. And students that have had me before, I say this a lot. There are very specific ways that you're supposed to answer questions in IB. So for example, if you have a question that's asking you to compare like 2 things, like compare A to B, you cannot be like, A is blah, 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 period. B is blah, 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 period. You do not get points for that. And IB, they're crazy, right? Like I've said before, they're super evil. So what they want you to do is use some sort of conjunction. So if you're talking about how so compare is similarities and differences. So A is this, and B is this. If you're talking about differences, maybe A is this, whereas B is this. So all you have to include your comparisons in the same sentence. So that would be an example, and we'll practice this. And I'm going to be with you in the class. But that would be an example of how to answer a question the right way. So if you've answered it right, like you have the correct information, and you've answered the command term correctly, you would get full points. So those are the 3 ways that I will be assessing you on the projects.